Weatherman, don't tell me lies. I know it's all a big surprise. It's a hocus pocus magic that you do.
Good morning. Welcome to WEITV. Thank you for joining us for another weekly weather broadcast sponsored by Westward Environmental. Thank you for joining us. Let's go ahead and take a look at the weather this past week. Well, initially, last weekend time frame, that we had the big bubble of high pressure over a good portion of south central Texas. That bubble of high pressure actually moved off towards the northwest and centered into the western portion of the Texas area by late last weekend and into the early portion of this week. Also, the bubble of high pressure off to our east stayed to the east. How did that translate into weather for us? Well, we got moisture off the Gulf of Mexico, and we had a weak weather disturbance that came across the northern portion of Texas area and into the Texas Hill Country. That dropped actually quite a lot of rainfall. We had in the eastern portions of the Hill Country anywhere from about a ½ inch of rainfall up towards isolated 3-inch rainfalls over the northern portion of the Hill Country. But in the recharge zone, beneficial rainfall occurred. And so we're very happy with that. That happened primarily on the Sunday time frame. And then the Monday, Tuesday time frame, we had fairly dry weather across a good portion of the Texas Hill Country. And unfortunately, the western portion of the Hill Country and farther south remained dry through the whole week. Well, then Wednesday came, and we started to get another fetch of low-level moisture. A low had developed and moved off to the east, and then started working its way backwards towards the west as the Wednesday time, Thursday, Friday time frame occurred. And this low brought additional rainfall, mainly to the eastern parts of the Texas Hill Country as well as the southern portions of Texas. Got some rainfall, but actually quite spotty, isolated ½ inch, 1 inch amounts if you were lucky, mainly 1/10 of an inch from Wednesday through the Friday time frame. And that was due to that low. And that low is actually had tracked off to the west into Mexico by early Friday, and so leaving hot temperatures again. Now, with the cloud cover, we did have lower high temperatures. Remember, last week we had 100s. This week we had 90s and then low temperatures in the 70s. So the question becomes, what is going to happen this weekend into the following week? And we'll take a look in just a moment, but first we're going to take a look at local highlights. Well, we're taking a look now at a new segment that we've produced. It's called Local Spotlight. Well, this week we're going to be taking a new look at Hondo in Medina County. Well, if we look at last year, okay, 2011, if we take a snapshot of January through the June time frame, how many days of 100-degree temperatures occurred? And last year, through that time period, about 20 days of 100-degree temperatures had occurred. Pretty ugly. Well, for this year, guess how many 100-degree days have occurred for the Hondo area? Only 3. And that's actually normal for this time of the year. So that pans out well that they have also been getting not only cloud cover, but some more rainfall in comparison to 2011. So let's go back and look at the statistics for rainfall for Hondo for 2011 time frame. Again, if we're taking a snapshot of January through June, how many rainfall events occurred last year? For Hondo, 13 days only. This year, 44 days. And guess what? The normal is 40 days. The first day of summer was this last Wednesday, June 20th. And boy, let me tell you, this weekend and into the following week, boy, hot weather, dry weather, broken record. Don't need a meteorologist for that type of weather pattern. You know, these last few weeks we've been talking about the Ring of Fire and how the Ring of Fire has been centered over just a smaller portion of the Texas area, and you get all these thunderstorms in and around it. Well, this weekend and the next week, what's going to happen, you're going to have a big dome of high pressure. It's going to encompass the entire state, and this effect is going to be occurring today, Friday, all the way through at least next week. And that big dome of high pressure is going to keep all of the water well out of Texas. So expect hot temperatures, highs, upper 90s to lower 100s. Heat indexes probably in the lower 100s each and every day. And lots of sun. So how long is this high pressure going to last? Well, that is a great question. We're actually going to be looking into that issue towards next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. We're going to have a summer outlook for you, and actually there's some good news in there that we'll communicate later. But good news usually spells R-A-I-N. So we'll take a look at that next week. And also we're going to be taking a look at our next local spotlight is going to be somewhere out here in western Texas Hill Country. Take care. Have a great week.
Does that Donnie Mitchell have the mange, his dragon tail? It was quite strange. I hear there are tornadoes on the lake. When you set it up to rain, I know that is just a game.